What's up, gang? Hope you're doing well. This video was sent to us by one of our community homies, Blackout, finishing through contact with Spurs associate head coach Sean Sweeney. This is from Championship Productions 2 months ago. I actually don't have we seen this channel? 349,000 subscribers. So I'm assuming it's an older channel. With if it's only getting 4.5k views, but maybe it's one of those channels that like amasses a bunch of different types of clinics and things together. So we might have to check them out a little bit more, but let's dive into it. Let's see. Well, that's not going to work.
Now, one of the things that we do a lot of when it comes to individual offense is we work with these guys on playing versus contact, being able to drive the basketball. 6 to 8 to 10 years ago, especially when Kyrie Irving was in Cleveland, you saw more and more guys around the NBA drilling creative finishes, all the different dexterity, and that's really important. But one of the things that has not lost itself and is even...
I like the butt. Wait, pause. No, I do like butts. You know what? I stand with that. I do like butts. But I like that he threw that butt in there. We saw with Kyrie coming in, a lot of players starting to work on these kooky, goofy, creative finishes, which is great. But as we always say on this channel, it's the icing on the cake. Finishing through contact is still like, you still got to be able to do that first. Master that first. You can't come up with all these creative ways to avoid it. Just got to deal with it and then come up with creative ways on top of that.
And more important now, especially as you get into the postseason, is being able to play through contact. So we drill playing through contact a number of different ways, but one of the ways we would do it is I'm going to have you stand right here. I'm going to have you stand right here, and we're going to treat you like you're a coach, and then we're going to treat you like you're a coach right here. And you're going to be right here for me, big guy, just standing right there. And you're going to be right there. And oftentimes we would have a coach with like a little stick or a pad or whatever here, depending on who it is we're having work. But you're basically going to give that guy contact there. And you're basically going to give that guy contact here. Now, when we work on footwork, the way we're going to do it here is we're going to have a third coach here. I'm going to flip the ball to you. I want you to catch it on 2 feet. And we're going to work on a reverse pivot. Yep. And now we're going to pivot back. Okay, so we're just working on balance on the pivots. But once you pivot, you're going to get that ball away from me, and you're going to rip it through. Yep. And when we rip it through, we sweep it, or it's either a high or a low sweep. But if you rip it low, we want you to do it below your knees. Okay, why do we want it below your knees? One, I can't get my hands on it. And two, where does it put your shoulder? Right on my hip.
And it loads up your athletic stance too. I like this so far. What I like about this, again, this is where people overanalyze way too much. And they'll say things like, NBA coaches and teams don't teach this stuff, or high school coaches, college coaches don't teach it. Whatever. That's what skills trainers will have you believe. This is the type of team stuff that people work on. Again, we go back to some of the clinics we watched. A lot of these types of drills are put into team practices. And I think that's what we need to focus on more in America, like incorporating it into our associations, less of bringing in random skill coaches to teach us stuff, a random dude from over here to teach us stuff. No, it needs to build on your foundational principles. So he's talking about here, I like this drill because you could get, if you've got 5 bigs, you could get your 5 bigs that are catching the ball here. You get them all in a line and repping this out. Again, a lot of people are going to say static drills or drilling not against a live offense isn't good. But again, this is where you start. Get the habits. You get your teaching points out. We want to go below the knees. We want to work on a reverse pivot and into a forward pivot, then a rip through. So you get to work on the sequencing and you get the pattern down. Then you can play some live one-on-one from there, or some 2-on-1, or whatever you want to do with an advantage. This is very good. It's very simple, and it builds into their concepts. I like this so far.
Now, as you drive it, you're going to put your knee through my knee.
Oh, and also, like you said, the reason, this is why I think drilling is important. You don't drill things for the sake of drilling, but if you're drilling them with a purpose, super important. So when he said, we want to go below the knees, some people will tell you a thing to do just to do it. But he's saying below your knees because it's also, it's a quick cue that will also pretty much load up your first step. It's also going to protect the ball from the defense. It's also going to get your shoulder past the hip. which is all points that you've heard me talk about. So I like those types of coaching cues.
And for the purposes of this drill, I want you to dribble outside of your teammate here. Just take one more step up. Yep, and you're going to bump me as I get to here into my gather. And I've got to be strong with that basketball, get that long stride, get that next one. And then if we had a pad here, we would have you finish versus that pad, and you'd be basically doing the same thing there. So we're working on finishing. We'll line, especially young guys in the summertime, line them up. You catch that ball, you'd reverse pivot back, rip it low. Yep, and we would do it off of one dribble.
One dribble. This is so good, because these are the things that you get better at by playing. Like if you just play a game and you go catch it at the high post and you rip through, like there's going to be contact, there's going to be all these things, but you might only get 2 chances in a game to try that, right? You might only get to try it twice. So you're not practicing it enough. Then if the coach puts you into 3-on-3 and tells you to go with this, you're only getting to practice it. Like sometimes the defense will let you go this way, sometimes it won't, sometimes this. So you're still only getting to really practice that going to your right so many times, let's say 10. Well, now with a drill, you can really rep out all those. You can get 20. You can get 20 in one session. Then you can go the other direction, 20. And then you can go into some games with it.
Instead of 3. So we would expect these guys to take one big, long step here, gather, take that bump, gather, and finish. So that's the basic idea of it. Let's take one more step in here for me. Yep, there you go. So now you can do it. You catch that basketball, you rip it low, shoulder to hip, bump, bump, finish. Excellent. So we do different variations of pivots here, different variations.
And obviously this wasn't clean, right? And you can tell this player is thinking about each of these movements. Watch this. So he spins. His reverse pivot's actually really good, but you want to be planting off of your reverse pivot and full speed into your next pivot, so that instead he's turning on this foot, but you really want to be pushing off of that foot and getting low, because that might be a full speed drive left, right? But now he pushes off that pivot and you're planting, and now it's a full speed drive right. So you want your pivot left, your pivot right, all these things to look the same. You want them to have like a reason. But with that, my dogs. But with that being said, like you got to rep them out. You got to rep it out till it's not like thinking. You're not thinking of each sequence. Now that you got the sequence, now we can get into the detail of what each thing needs to do. So I think this stuff is really good. Again, there's just so many people that will tell you drilling stuff is bad, or they will say NBA teams don't work on this, or college teams don't work on this. And again, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. There's a lot of things we don't do right here in America, but there's a lot of stuff that we actually do. We actually do a decent job of.
Bump, bump, finish. Excellent. So we do different variations of pivots here, different variations of finishing for those guys, but that's one of the big things, is finishing through contact.
Now we got an ad. No, I thought that was really good. Like, again, like I said, I don't think everyone wants to overthink and overcomplicate things. And I've told you guys, like, that to me is more of like a European style. That's definitely something we would have stole from Europe or whatever. That's more of like a European style of building into your training. So now instead of doing like 2-line layups or just doing that stuff on air, now you incorporate the coaches, you incorporate like a little bit of adversity. But then they'll probably do, that's probably their offense later on, right? Hit the high post and let's play off of it. Maybe that's the Princeton action. Let's hit the high post. And then let's get into our reads. But now the post players have worked on this reverse pivot, this rip through. They've worked on other options that they can score one-on-one out of their offense. So again, I thought that was very, very good. Blackout, thank you for sending that. Like, if as much as you can, if you can build up your drills to directly mimic what's happening in your offense, I think that's the sweet spot. I think that's the perfect place to be as a coach. I know a lot of you don't have time. A lot of you don't have time to sit there and really plan out your stuff, but I'm telling you, it will make a world of difference if you can think about what type of offense do you want to run before you're in the position. What type of offense do you want to run? What type of drills are you going to be doing, and how do those incorporate into your offense? So again, 3-man weave, is it a bad drill? No, but if you're not using any of those concepts, it's probably just super unnecessary for you to do. Like, you just don't need it. You might as well, instead of 3-man weave, because one of you said in the comments the other day, you're trying to run You're trying to teach your players transition stuff. Well, maybe you just teach your transition drill as part of your transition offense. So if your transition offense is to kick ahead and then cut through, maybe you have a drill where you kick the ball ahead, you cut through, and then it's a drive and kick for a 3. Next group go, next group go. And you're teaching concepts that are actually going to happen in your offense. Then you can teach, well, if the kick ahead isn't there, I can dribble him through. So now dribble through, drive, kick to the corner. So you can put things in place, and you can think a little bit harder rather than just be like, this drill used to work over here. And then for some team in 1948, and then this drill I'm going to take from 2007, and then this drill I'm going to instead just think about what you're doing and what things can build into each other. This was a very good one. Blackout, thank you for sending it. Wow, I can ramble, can't I? Goodbye.